pigs, instead of carting them over to the railway carriage in the back of a ute, I don't know why, or well, they couldn't do it that way, but anyway, Dad decided he would herd them over there like a mob of sheep, I suppose. It didn't go real well. They were under the post office and all sorts of things. Took them between the school and the post office. The old post office used to be, to get over to the wagons, which are just over beside the wheat board there. Yeah. They got most of them there.
My partner now, Vaughan, he was telling me one time he went to Dirranbandy and he broke down. Anyway, he had his sheepdogs with him and he thought, well, the only way I'm going to get back to Thallon is by train. And they wanted to charge him $8.20 per dog. And he said, strike. Anyway, I think it was Dinger.
Oh, Dinger.
Yeah, he piped up and he said, look, he's a mate of mine. He can just sit up here with me in the carriage. So, yeah, he didn't have to pay. I think it would have been about $40 for these dogs. More for the dogs than what it was for a passenger. Yeah, I don't know how they worked it out to charge that much for a dog.
Policemen would sometimes, someone that was a bit undesirable, he'd put someone in the lockup until the train came along, and then he'd put him on the train and, righto, we don't want to see you back here in Thallon again. You keep going, mate.
There was always ghost stories about the railway tracks that the older cousins used to tell us. So, and I believed them for a long, long time, but yeah, so and I passed them down to my kids as well, some crazy stories. I can't tell them very good, but there was always one that they talked about with the dog walking along. There's a big long story with it, but then the old woman that was walking there, that died there, was walking along, and depending on whether it was a full moon or no moon or something, she'd have her head on the plate or the dog's head on the plate walking along. And then there's a big story behind it, and I'm not very good at telling it, but yeah, that was one that always, I think because I was picturing that happening in my head, and then living next to the railway tracks always sort of kept me on my toes a bit.
There was a min light that used to shine in the winter time between Thallon and Daymar, and some of these railway workers came down to Thallon, had a few drinks, were going home, and the min light chased them right through to Daymar, and everyone was terrified. It used to travel up and down the railway line. But I think that now, with the water, the underground water, not being what it was in those days, the min light has gone too. Where the min lights were, there was always water. Yes. Well, I think so anyway.